Good morning, folks. Hope you're going to have a great day. Steve here, weighing in from Canada, and here we are the very next day in the aftermath of the Canadian federal election, and there were a few surprises. Firstly, there were two leaders of major political parties, Jagmeet Singh of the NDP and Pierre Pollievre of the Conservative parties, who actually lost their seat in the House of Commons and therefore are not elected. And I'm going to talk about the reasons why that are very little known as to why Pierre Pollievre lost his seat in his own riding. The final count, I think they're still coming in a little bit, but it looks at this point, at the time of this video being made, which is the day after, the federal Liberals won 168 seats in the House of Commons, the Conservatives with 144, the Bloc Québécois, which is the party which is indigenous to the province of Quebec, 23 seats, 7 seats for the New Democratic Party, and 1 seat for the Green Party. I think one of the surprises that happened, most polls were calling for a strong majority for the Liberals. I saw some estimates at about 186 seats prior to the election, and it was significantly less. It was about 168. Now, 172 seats is the threshold by which they determine if that party has a majority. In this case, it's going to be a minority government, and the elected Prime Minister now, Mark Carney, and the Liberal Party will need to seek an association with another party. My guess is it's probably going to be the NDP, and if they work together, that will sustain the minority government for a period of time. How long? Anybody knows. But let's get on to Pierre Pollievre now. I find this fascinating. I was very puzzled initially as to why he lost his own riding. Sources very close to the political scene in Ottawa have told me the reasons why Pierre Pollievre has lost his own riding, and I found it quite interesting, and I'd like to share this with you. Quite some time ago, as many of you will remember, a few years back, there was a truckers' convoy which came from all parts of Canada, from Western Canada, and they converged on the city of Ottawa, which is the nation's capital. And the net result of that was these truckers came in, parked their vehicles in downtown Ottawa, and did not move. And, you know, they were disrupting essential services. There were weapons that were confiscated in that instance. Best of my recollection, there were a few assaults as well. And these truckers were honking their horns through the night so that people essentially who lived downtown could not sleep. Businesses were losing their commerce, and their sales were significantly down because people just could not get downtown. And then if you look over at the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, Detroit area, the truckers had also commandeered that bridge, inhibiting international trade, costing businesses, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Layoffs ensued because these people were squatting on the bridge and would not move. It was not a pretty sight. And Pierre Pollievre thought that it would be a good idea to show his support for these truckers in Ottawa and brought them coffee and donuts and publicly offered his support to these truckers who were disrupting life in Ottawa. From that day forward, and this is what I'm told, from that day forward, the city of Ottawa, many of the residents were none too pleased with what had taken place. And believe me, this ran over a period of several days, if not a few weeks. And these truckers simply would not go home. Ultimately, what happened is there was a crackdown by the federal government in addition to the provincial government, and ultimately they cleared all these people out so that life could get back to normal for very innocent citizens who had no interest in this, but they just wanted to live their life inside of their city. And they were not allowed to do that very effectively through that time. So I am told that the resentment that happened as a result of this protest created an enormous, hand in hand, it created an enormous amount of pushback among citizens who banded together. And these are people of all political stripes, just said, this is nonsense. Pierre Pollievre should not, in their words, and I'm paraphrasing collectively for them, Pierre Pollievre should not have endorsed this disruptive protest which encumbered the lives of probably tens of thousands of people in the Ottawa area and made life very difficult for them. So the box of donuts and the coffees that Pierre Pollievre brought to these people, to my knowledge and from what I've been informed about by those close to the political scene in Ottawa, this has resulted in an enormous amount of pushback and a collective will to try to get Pierre Pollievre unelected and out of office. I think the moral of the story is if you're going to bring someone, a dozen donuts and coffees, it might be a good idea to make sure that you're not disturbing the lives of tens of thousands of other people who didn't want the truckers there in the first place. And they certainly didn't want them there for an extended period. So that's the story I'm hearing. Pierre Pollievre created his own device by sponsoring, or in other words, endorsing these truckers. And it came back to essentially haunt him on election night in Canada. Now, he has not resigned, and indications are that he plans to continue to stay on as leader of the Conservative Party. When you look at what happened in Ottawa, the vast majority of ridings in the Ottawa area, they appeared to all have this resentment against Pierre Pollievre for what he did in supporting these truckers. So it's going to be interesting to see. I would imagine there's going to be some pushback from those inside the Conservative Party about Pierre Pollievre staying on as leader. But he can't go into the House. He's I mean, he could go as a spectator upstairs, I suppose. But he has no seat. I don't know if the undercurrents in the Conservative Party are enough to get him to be removed, but it's going to be interesting. We'll see. Please, if you will, please. We count on people like you, and thank you for tuning in, by the way. We count on people like you to subscribe and like this video, and if you could share it, please do. And the comments are always welcome in the comment box. Have yourself a wonderful day.